it's Julie from Julie Hickey Designs. Thank you for joining me this morning for our continuing on with our fun with foilables event. And I've got a few things to share with you this morning before I start. Okay, that's that done. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Thank you so much for your company this morning. Lovely to have you along. I just wanted to remind everybody that Jo will be here tomorrow at 10:30 for her live with her Fun with Foilables, so looking forward to that. And then on Sunday, which I know is Mother's Day, so Brian, don't be upset if you don't get too many people watching. I'm sure they'll watch on catch up. We've got Brian's Sunday school, but it's much anticipated because it's alcohol links and crisp packets or chip packets, wherever in the world you are. So 2 dates for your diaries. So that's tomorrow at same time, 10:30, and then on Sunday at 10:30. But of course, we will upload them onto YouTube, and you can watch whenever you want, or you can find them in the this page, and they'll all be on the Julie Hickey Designs Facebook page. Okay, so I'm going to share with you, before I start, Emma's beautiful card that is now available for the download, so you can print it out and know how to make it. So bear with me, let me just flip the camera. There we go, let's get this down so you can see it. Okay, so this is Emma's beautiful Fun with Foilables card. So she's mixed it in with the beautiful rabbits, my lovely bunny stamp, and she's done these onto the check paper in the lemon, the blue and the pink, and then she's got the beautiful check paper as her background. So she's mixed in with the lilac and the blue. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then all her flowers are foilables on here. So she's mixed a bit of stamping with her foilables, which is absolutely beautiful. Isn't that lovely? And so I've printed it out. Let me bring it up a little bit. Printed it out so it's ready for my to be downloaded. And this is, I'm going to give this away with the card and the instructions of how to create it as well. So step-by-step photos, which is always lovely, and knowing what you're going to end up with as well. So, and also missed that bit, the list of ingredients that you'll need. So yeah, so fabulous. That's Emma's card that is available now on the Crafty Friends page, and it's in the file, so you can download it and print it out yourself. And one day when I do get my cereal boxes decorated and ready for my file to put them all in, they're building up, and there's another one to come this month as well. So we are spoiling you. Yes, so I will sort that the giveaways out. But it's just beautiful, isn't it? How gorgeous is that? Lovely. And it was so lovely to see that somebody had copied Philippa's card the other day, the butterfly one. It was absolutely beautiful. So it's really lovely. Okay, so this morning I'm going to do 2 cards, which I know Donna will be very pleased about. This is my first one, and I was inspired again by Philippa with her panel of leaves down the side of her card, and then I've added my foilables, but I've used Jamie's Enchanted Sprinkles for these ones. So I had spring green, and I had a bit of Christmas green, and I had a bit of pink, which we'll take was orchid, and a bit of orange, which was golden. Well, I say orange, it's called golden yellow, but it does come out orangey. It's lovely. So they're the colours that I'll be using, and I've also added a butterfly as well, but these are all foiled in gold, but they just worked so beautifully with Jamie's Enchanted Sprinkles. So these have a bit of a different look. I'm not sure it's picking it up really on here, but it's got that shimmer that you get with the Enchanted Sprinkles, as well as being foiled. And I had to add a little bumblebee. Just how lovely are they, but those bumblebees. So that's my first card. I don't have a finished second card to show you because I'm going to adapt a card that I'd made as a Foilables card, which I'm now going to bring some stamping into, because I wanted to mix and match them and just show how fabulous they work together. I knew you'd be pleased, Donna. At least I'm making someone happy. Okay, so I'm going to be using a 5x7 card blank. I did add, you can barely see it, I did add a little strip of gold glitter glue, but I cut it in the middle so there's none behind the flowers. And I have a piece of card that I've cut down. This is 12 by 24. No, that's 12 by 18. It's a 24 by 18 piece of card scored to make a card that will go in a 5x7 envelope. And then I've made the panel to go on the top 11.5, and if that was 18, it'd be 17.5. So that's my panel to go on the top as well. And then I'm going to be using some elements from my Butterflies and Blooms die cut foilables. So this is pack 1001, and there's 96 in here. So this is a lovely one to have. We've got some flowers in here, but we've got all those lovely different sized butterflies as well, which are so good for adding to your cards. So, and maybe I'll do it with a different, oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's pick out a different one. Will they fit on? Oh, look, they will. We'll go with those two today. And I need a butterfly. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay. And then I'm going to pick a sentiment as well. So we will have, oops. Go on, let go, thank you. Okay, what can we have? Have the best day ever. Doesn't have to be a birthday. You can just be wishing somebody to have a good day. Can be a just because card. Okay, so I'm taking it. I know that we've got Philippa watching. Don't know about, I didn't see Tracy flash up, but she may well be. But I know that Philippa will answer any questions if there are any, and I will stop and have a cup of tea afterwards and read all the comments. I'm just flipping back just to see if Tracy, yes, Tracy is there. Sorry, Tracy. Lovely. Okay, so we'll make it slightly different, but I'm still going to do my stamping with my leaves. So it was to combine your foilables with your stamping. So we could have little flowers instead, couldn't we? Or shall I stick with the leaves? Because I've got all my colours out ready to colour them. But let's do this leaf instead this time. So this is a different leaf. In fact, this one is probably better for this sort of thing because I want quite a covered up background. So we've got a nice area there that it's going to cover. Okay, so let's pop these to one side. I'm going to do my stamping first. So I'm going to bring my press in. Now I'm going to use my press, but I am going to put my stamp on my block and do it that way. So I'm using the sticky mat inside, and I need a piece of tape so I can section off a piece of my card. So I want a piece that's long enough to cover my whole card. And I've got this in so I can use the lines on my, I don't want it to be half and half, I want it to be a bit less than half. So I can use the lines to keep everything straight. There we go. And now I've got my stamp on my block that I'm going to use. I'm going to use my VersaFine ink pad, and we can ink our stamp up, make sure it's nicely inked up. And I'm just going to come in so that I'm going to go on and off my piece of card. Oh, good morning, Joe. Sorry, I haven't looked. The thing is, I connect my computer up. I actually really only use it to make sure I'm showing you a good enough picture. So I start in one place and I want to go on and off my card. I want to vary the angle of my stamp as well. I want to have different elements of it showing. And I just put my finger in the ink pad. Do you know what? I'd love to make a card once where I was not messy. Right, let's fill. You want to fill up the gaps as you go. Oh, I didn't see that. We'll put a butterfly over that bit. Or we'll make sure the flowers go over that bit. Make sure you stay inside your tape. Don't do as I do. But you don't want to stamp one here and one down here, because then you're trying to fill the gap in the middle. You do want to work your way down the card. It's going to happen again. Right, let's get another piece of card just to make sure that I'm protecting the rest of my card so that I don't get any more stamping on it. But I do think it's nice just to change the orientation of your stamp, have it facing upwards, downwards, just so you're getting different bits of the stamp each time. But you want to fill in, you want to make sure it's quite nice and close together, because if I'm having that imaginary line in a minute when I take this away, I've got to fit that in, am I? There we go, just about. Okay, so now when we take this piece of card away and we take our piece of tape off, because we've got that stamping nice and close, we will get a nice line down the edge. So let's take this off of my mat, and I am just going to very quickly, just while I remember, take that ink off my mat and that ink down the bottom of my mat. And you just do it with water and a cloth, and it cleans it all up and it'll be nice and sticky still. Let's clean my stamp as well, because I don't need that anymore. Obviously, if you want to do some stamping on the inside of your card, you can make it so that it all matches as well. You could add another Foilables inside. Really, whatever you want to do. Okay. And we could use little stamps like these little dots and the flowers as well. So you could sprinkle those in amongst your stamping if you wanted to. Okay, so next up, I'm going to do my colouring. So I've got my clean colour and I've got leaf green. Don't worry about this, I'm going to cover that up. I'm going to make sure my brush is nice and wet. And I'm going to add some colour and just draw some of that colour out. Just so that I'm going to get varying shades. I'm trying to keep the edge. You could leave the tape on and colour and then take your tape off if you want to. If you're not happy about trying to keep that edge straight, that's probably the best bet. Just leave the tape on. So again, don't do as I do. Okay. I can see there's some questions, but I've probably missed. I will go back, like I say, I always do. I will go and have a drink and look through the questions. I do like to try and answer them though, because when I upload the video to YouTube, the questions don't, or what your comments don't show. So it is actually quite good to address them as they happen. I definitely need a Brian, don't I, reading out the questions. I need to get Merv sorted. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but there you go. Okay, so literally just spreading that ink just a little bit, doing that little bit at the bottom. What I didn't think was that this is obviously going to take me longer to colour than the bigger leaf. I mean, you could leave it black and white if you wanted to, because that would look, actually that would look really nice with the colour from the Foilables then, but I've started now, so I'll finish and it won't take me long. I think I could probably do more than one leaf at a time. Let's see. Oh yes, look at that, still moves. Sometimes the colour dries so quick that it doesn't really bleed much if it's had too long to dry. But you can always put some colour on your mat and pick it up with your wet brush if that's the case. You could do this with your Inktense pencils. That would be a really lovely way of colouring it as well. And I hope that you are all really enjoying the Fun with Foilables event. I think we've had some fabulous cards. Philippa's Technique Tuesday was absolutely brilliant. I loved, I just wanted to get all my backgrounds out and put them together in colour combos and get making. It's just a shame that there's other things that I need to do as well, because that's what I'd like to do really. It's just make. Anyway. But yeah, I hope you are enjoying it and I hope you're being inspired as well by them. And it's so lovely to see what you are making. I saw that Jenny had made a lovely couple of cards with her backgrounds. I saw Andrine had made some as well. So yeah, it is lovely to see the cards, especially after you've done a live and somebody else wants to make what you've inspired them to make. It's lovely. Oh, you can find all the videos. So maybe that's something I need to focus on. Okay, so all the videos that you watch on, that all happen on Julie Hickey Designs. And the reason they happen on Julie Hickey Designs is because we can then share them into the group page, the Crafty Friends page. But if we do them in the Crafty Friends page, we can't share them. The facility isn't there to share them. So if we do them on the Julie Hickey Designs page, we can share them into the Crafty Friends, but every single video, maybe not on the day that it happens, but I do try, I download them and add them to my YouTube channel. So if ever you can't find a video or you want to, have I missed anything? If you go over onto YouTube to my channel and you subscribe and you put notifications on, you will be notified when we put up any new videos. So a way of not missing anything maybe is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which helps me enormously because it gets my channel up there a bit higher and more people see it. So always grateful if you subscribe. But if you also turn on notifications, they will tell you when we upload any new videos. So you'll never miss any of your Technique Tuesdays, any of Brian's, any of Joe's, any of mine, any of Philippa's. You will always be notified about what's happening. So that is a good way. And like I say, if you subscribe, it helps. I have no idea about, I don't understand logarithms and all that, but, or algorithms, whatever it is. Logarithms was at school, wasn't it? Yeah, but it helps to get my videos seen by other people, which is lovely. Like Brian's was. So Brian's alcohol inks has had an amazing amount of views from all over the world, so it's really lovely. Yeah, of course. So Crafty Friends of Julie Hickey Designs is a Facebook group where everybody shares the cards that they make with my products, and it's a fabulous place for inspiration. It's such a lovely group. So yes, you definitely need to join, Pam. Okay, so that's my colouring done. I can put that to one side and leave that to dry while I get on with my foiling. So I will put my laminator on, and I'm switching it on to hot. Helps if I plug it in. There we go. I can feel it whirring now. And while it's getting ready, we can get our piece of photocopy paper, which acts as a carrier sheet, and then I think I will use I'm going to use Fab foil, which is a toner foil, which is how the foilables work, because they are created using toner ink. So these are the bits that I want to foil, and we'll foil these ones in gold. And so I'm going to use the glitter gold, and I'm going to cut myself a piece of foil. So I'll cut myself a nice big piece. I would suggest cutting on the lines, just because where it's been creased and folded around the piece of card, sometimes it doesn't foil that well. So if you cut it on a line, then you're not missing anything. So lots of different foils will work, but they need to be toner foils. So you can either place your foil pretty side down, so the gold is down, and then you can place all your foilables face down as well. So this is the way that I like to do it, just because I find it easy to do that. Or you can place your foilable side up, and space that you don't need to leave much space between them. You want to use as much of the foil as possible, so as long as they're not overlapping, they're fine. And then you can just place your foil down on the top, and then you shut your piece of paper up. Doesn't matter if you put them in upside down or up the right way, whichever way round you do it, it's absolutely fine. And you can either foil them first. Now, I haven't tried foiling them first with Enchanted Sprinkles, but it worked Enchanted Sprinkles, then Foilables. So we'll try it the other way round and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then we'll know. So I'm going to bring my laminator back in. The light has come on green, so that's telling me it's ready to go. It's heated up. You need a hot foiler, because the hot foil, or the heat, melts the ink, and then the ink becomes like a glue, and the glue then holds onto the foil. Thank you, Tracy. I forgot to mention that. Yes, it's a private group, Pam. So you have to ask to join, and then we'll approve it, and then you get access to looking at everything. There's lots of files, there's lots of albums. You really do need to join, without a doubt. Okay, so now that we've foiled, let's turn this off because I don't need any more for a minute, and it does heat up very quickly. Okay, so now when I take this off, you can see that it's all stuck. So when I take this off, oh, it's just like magic. It just foils them absolutely beautifully. So I've got gold glitter foil on here, and we'll see. I think it will work, but I didn't know if the enchanted sprinkles might have something in them that would cover the foil as opposed to it acting like a resist, but we'll see. I mean, look at that, isn't that beautiful? Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, look at that, scrummy. It just foils so beautifully, and it's so simple with a laminator. And then we've got this lovely foiled butterfly as well. I mean, how gorgeous. Just takes it up a level, really. I love foiling, and so it's so lovely to be able to do that yourself. Just with, I mean, my laminator was about £10. I did buy it quite a long time ago. Right, so I'm going to use my sprinkles to decorate all of these, and I'm going to bring in my dry brush because this is the way I like to use them, and I'm going to put just a little bit of colour out for each different sprinkle. So you need the tiniest little bit, really, and I'm going to put the bottles above each one because the green, one of the greens is orange looking, this one. It's because it's got a lot of yellow in it. So I could get muddled up with these two. So first up with the flowers, I'm going to pick up a little bit of the powder, and I'm just going to brush it over the flowers. So I'm going to do all of these in orange. And then I might sort of do all of them, mightn't I? I'm going to do them the same. I want them to match. Now, when I spritz this with water and activate the enchanted sprinkles, it's going to all meld in together. Let me bring my card back in so you can see. Oh, it is going to mix all in together, but I really was so pleased with how it all turned out. So now, then you just get any powder off your brush, pick up the next colour, and I'm going to use this to colour in my big flower. And then do it again. And like I say, I am doing them the same. I could have made it that this had an orange big flower and little pink flowers. I'm going to put a little bit of pink in these little daisies. Mind my fingers on them. And you do only need the tiniest little bit of, you'll be amazed at how much colour these little bits will deliver. So 1, 2. Okay, and then I've got, right, so wipe my brush off again. I'm going to bring these back in and add a little bit of orange because it's next to my pink flower. Okay, so then I'll wipe my brush off and we'll come in with a bit of green to start with on my leaves. And I'm just really holding it at one end just to keep it still while I paint the bit of powder on each of the petals, each of the leaves. I am going to add a little bit of this darker in as well, but I'm literally going to just tap that down in places on the leaves. And then hopefully that will, can't remember if I've done these or not now. Let's do them again if I did. Then when I spritz this, the colour's going to just blend and mix together beautifully. And we'll just bring a little bit of the darker in. Okay, then before I do my butterfly and my sentiment, I'm going to pull this down a bit. I'm going to move that out of the way because I don't want that to get spoiled. I am going to move these down just a fraction, try and keep them away from my powders so I've still got those to use. In fact, let's have a bit of paper and see if I can keep the water from hitting them. So I'm just going to do a little bit of water to start with. In fact, let's move you down. Let's see how close you can get to seeing it. Okay. But it's instant, isn't it? I don't want puddles particularly, I want spray. But then I'm going to put my heat tool in. I'm just going to give them a quick blast so that the colour stays virtually where I want it to stay. It's got a bit too much water here. Just find a bit of tissue. And now I can pick them up, just give them a quick heat, get them out of the water. And let's just pick these up. I managed to keep it dry by the powder, so I've still got those to use. Perfect. Now, if there's anything you're not happy about, if there's any you want to add a bit more colour to, you can do that now as well. So you don't have to stop at this. So if you're not happy, so say I wanted to bring in a deeper orange. I've got coral pink here. Whoops. So let's bring a bit of that out. Just got it all over my sentiment there. So let's bring in my dry brush. And this is the coral pink. Now maybe I want to add a little bit more colour over these orangey flowers. We'll just do those. Didn't do that one, did I? Can't remember. And let's add a little bit of corally pink, whoops, corally pink to my butterfly. And then we'll also have the bright pink. So that should blend really nicely. And then with my sentiment, I'm just going to put a bit of colour along the bottom in the coral. And then we'll try and pick up a little bit more of pink along the top. Might need to put a bit more out. Okay, so now I will bring them back down again. And let's just pop my bit of paper in front of the powder in case I need any more. And then we can, yeah, I need to add a bit more colour. Well, it didn't change the corally pink very much. That's that done. That's that. Let's just dry these. Well, I have got a little bit of corally pink in there, but it's not very bright, so we'll do a bit more colour on that one. Let's just get rid of that. I want to get rid of any water before I bring my brush back in. So let's try a bit of the sunshine yellow on it. And let's have a little bit more, but not only for my butterflies. I mean, you need the tiniest little bit. Right, let's see how we do with this. Again, I'll just bring it down a little bit. Got a little bit more yellow showing, not a lot though. Okay, let's get a bit more generous with it. Let's wipe this up. And then let's come in with the pink a bit more on my... I'm going to have a bit more golden yellow. And a little bit more pink for my butterfly. Right, let's just wipe this because I'm very wet down here, sorry. Might need to give them a bit of a blast. Okay, so I'm starting to get a bit more colour now. Let's just have a little bit more. I don't want too much more pink on that one. Definitely want some more yellow on this. And then we'll just put a little bit more pink. And it has worked beautifully with the foils. It's absolutely fine. Oh, that's better. Funny how you just know, isn't it? Right, let's move those so they don't get too wet. And let's move them out of the way. Don't need those anymore. I tried to clean my mat up before it came live, but it didn't work very well. Right, then there. Right, let's bring my heat tool in, just dry these off. And then they'll all flatten out nicely as well. Doesn't matter what they look like on the back, obviously. Right, so let me show you. I mean, how lovely. And all the foiling is absolutely fine. But you've got that shimmer as well from Jamie's Enchanted. But the foiling is working beautifully. So you can foil before or after with these ones. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I made sure that I used the right sort of green for my leaves with the green that I was going to use on here. I'm going to have one going one way, one going the other. Or I might just be able to get it over that mark. And then I've got something for down here and my butterfly. So I'm going to curl and shape my butterfly because I want my wings to be curled up. So just using my pokey tool over the back. And then fold this up. So that'll be fine. I do like to try and give this a little bit of movement as well. So maybe just with some of the flowers, turning them over, maybe with the leaves, even if you turn them up, it just so that it's not going down flat, if you like. I think I'll turn these up a little bit. So literally just with my thumb and curling around them while it's a little bit wet. Okay. So, card. No, that's the second card. There's my first card. Okay, make sure you can see well enough. So, I am going to just glue this down. You could pop this on with a piece of cardboard if you wanted to, or with foam pads, whatever you like to use. But I'm actually going to layer up my flowers so that you get that little bit of shadow behind the flowers. Let's pop this down, giving me my border around the edge and firm that down. Now, one thing I didn't make sure, and I keep forgetting this, is to make sure that my mat is nice and clean because that's fine. If you've left any powders behind, it'll pick it up. Okay, so with my piece of gold, I'm literally okay, don't know what I've done with my scissors, they're here somewhere. So I'm going to literally cut it in half. Doesn't have to be exact half or anything. And I'm going to put some glue on the back. And I'm just going to add that to the bottom of my panel, right on the edge. So if my flowers don't meet all the way to the end of the card, they'll have a little bit of gold showing at the top. Now you don't need to do this because you have got that nice straight line. It was just, I fancied it. Okay, so now I've got a bit of cardboard. Let's, not in half. but I need to chop a little bit off because I think it's a little bit too wide. And so let's put some glue on the back of here, and then onto the back of my foilable. Leave that, leave the same cardboard so that they're the same depth. You'll be amazed at how different cardboards can be. I can highly recommend pizza boxes. Okay, and firm that down. And then we want some glue on the back of our foilables, and we're going to have one with my leaves pointing one way, and then one with my leaves, so these top leaves are pointing to the left and these leaves are pointing to the right, and then we can overlap them a little bit, just have little peaks of the gold coming through. Perfect. And then if I cut this in half, in fact it's probably a bit less than half, and I'm going to put a piece of cardboard at either end but not in the middle, and then I can pop this down. So put glue on the back, and I can pop this down, and I'm going to place this over some of the leaves rather than, it's a bit low for me, maybe I'll put it there. Okay, so now I need to make sure my card is straight because I'm looking over the top of the camera, so I hope that is straight. And then just a little bit of glue on that flat part where you've lifted the wings on your butterfly, and then this can come in and just overhang onto my flowers a little bit. And then all I did was using some of my liquid pearls, and I'll bring this in so you can see it. I've just added little dots around my sentiment on the leaves, just dotted them about. So when you do this, you want to make sure that give your glue, the liquid pearls, a shake so that the liquid pearls is at the nozzle end, and then I'm just going to squeeze very gently. You can do single dots, they don't have to be doubles or triples, they can be whatever you want them to be, randomly across your card. Let's have a few up by the butterfly. Just draws your eye into everything. You could fill the centres like I did on here. So I've done all the details on the flowers with little dots of liquid pearls as well. So you've got the foiling, you've got the dimension with the pearls. So we could do something similar on here. So we could put little dots. You don't have to do all the flowers. You don't have to do all the stamens. We'll do the ones inside and a little bit there. Just make sure that you repeat it. I need to turn this up the other way because I don't want to spoil the liquid pearls. Just make sure that you do the same detail on each set. There we go. Right, let's turn that up the other way. So there, we have two virtually the same cards. I've just used different leaves, but it just gives you a different, I do like, and it's a lovely way to use the leaves as well. I love that Philippa did that with the panel going down the side. So let me move those out of the way and we'll move on to our next one. So this is a bit of a I had a card prepped ready to make, and I thought I would use this flower from the Foilables, but then I thought, no, I could use my flower from my Nature's Garden, so I can use this flower instead, so that I'm mixing stamping and my Foilables. I had this lovely embossing folder that it was one, I think it was a Studio Light one. I think I got it from, well, I know I got it from Hazel. And all I did was I've embossed it, just dry embossed it. And then I thought, oh, if I do silver, so I've rubbed a silver ink pad, a silver metallic ink pad over the top. And it is rather lovely. So bear with me. So I have embossed this. I need to trim it down a little bit, and I'm just going to use Lisa Horton's silver shine, and you literally hold the ink pad down and wipe over, and it's just going to bring, it will just hit the high spots, and it will just add ink to all that lovely embossed dimension. And it is such a fabulous thing to do. It's so easy, and it just looks amazing. How wonderful is that? It's gorgeous. So if you haven't tried putting metallic ink, or any colour ink for that matter, really, on your embossing folders, then yeah, lovely. And I know somebody was saying the other day that they wished I had embossing folders, and yeah, I do too. But again, it's, at the moment, it's not possible, I'm afraid. Yeah, I think that's absolutely beautiful on there. So let's, oops, sorry, caught my camera. I'm not going to attach it because I want to put my wording on with vellum, so I lift it off. So I'm not going to attach it to my card yet. I am going to stamp out ready my Nature's Garden too. So I love these. These remind me of sweet peas. I'm not saying I was trying to draw a sweet pea. They're all just in my head usually. But I do think these do look quite like sweet peas. So I'm going to pop, oh, that might not be big enough. I usually use a scrap piece of card. Okay, maybe not. Let's use a proper piece. I want to make sure we get them on. So onto my sticky mat. And then right up against the edge so that I've still got the rest of the card. Now, you could silver emboss this if you wanted to, but I want the impact of the silver from the embossing folder and the Foilables, because I'm going to use the Foilables sentiment. So I'm quite happy that this is just in black, because then that is going to draw your eye to all that lovely foiling a lot more. So let's pop that out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my, I'm going to have that colour, and I need the lovely bright pink. So these are the colours I use for my sentiment as well. I put my my laminator back on, and I will foil some and show you how I did those. But just for now, I'm going to start colouring my flower. Like I say, you could use all Foilables for this. There's plenty of lovely flowers in the packs. But I just thought it was nice, as we've got stamps, just to show how nicely they mix together. You could add, just use flower heads, and then add, you could use foiled flower heads. And oh, that's what I was going to say, sorry. You could add, I'll get it out in a minute. You could add foilable leaves as well. I mean, how lovely would they look? Just tuck some leaves in behind if you just use a flower head stamp. So you could mix and match. You could have your stamped flowers, but with foilable leaves. just the sentiments, all sorts. You can really mix and match. They work so well together, and I think like Emma's card shows that beautifully. All her lovely foilable flowers, but the bunnies stamped is just a lovely combination. You do spot a cheeky bit of vellum, Tracy, and yes, you are responsible. Whenever I use vellum now, it's like, down to Tracy again. I did used to use vellum before, Tracy, but yeah, I do. If you want something like your sentiment to stand out a little bit, just add in that little bit of vellum behind your sentiment. It just adds another layer. It draws your eye to the sentiment so much more, but it doesn't take away from the design at all. It's so soft and delicate. I just love the effect that you get with it. I really do. So just colouring, drawing that pen out. I like to go over my stems just to soften that, and around the squiggles that definitely look like sweet peas, little tendrils. Right, happy with that. I can obviously keep this, whoops, for another card. I will add that back into my envelope of bits I haven't used yet. So these are all foiled and coloured and ready to be turned into a card. So fabulous. Right, let's put that to one side while I sort out a piece of card. And I need a silver piece of foil. And let's bring in, got some silver glitter here. And let's just cut a single square, because I'm just going to do a sentiment for this one. And that's where my scissors went. All I will say is, if you've got long nose, I was going to say pliers then. If you've got long nose scissors or longer blade scissors, then use those to cut your foil. The less snips you need to do, the better. My pens are Zig Cling Colour, and they are the real brush. So they've got a lovely brush end, and they can be watercoloured. So this is what they look like when you start adding a little bit of water to your colours. But they are absolutely fabulous. Lots of shops sell them, and you'll find them online. Right, let's find my sentiments again. I had them in my little pouch. Where's that gone? I've got everyone except for that. Oh, no. There they are. I popped them back in my basket. Okay, so say we were doing, thinking, I've got a U. Where's my olive? I need an olive. Okay, I don't have any more big olives, unless I have, oh, there you go, right. So let's pop these away. So I've got Thinking of You. I love these. These are my Sentiments number 3 Assorted Sentiments pack. They are all fabulous, but I particularly like this one because of the bold. I really love these bold sentiments. Okay, so I'm going to do it face down, so silver pretty side down, and I'm going to place my Thinking of and You as close as I can get, and then shut my folder. My laminator is green and ready to go, so just feed it in. and let it do its work, and that will heat that printing up, and it will make the foil stick where there is black lines. So I need to cut this out, and I can do that. So I'm just going to cut and leave a little border. Whether I get any white or if my colouring of my green has gone outside, that's absolutely fine. But just want to leave a little border around the edge, because that's how I like to colour, to cut out. I'm not very good at, although I have done some fussy cutting actually, which you will see fairly soon. But yeah, I do prefer, by leaving a little border, you're making everything that much bigger and easier to cut out. And so you can cut this, and then I will reveal the sentiment and show you how I coloured that, just so that you know how I achieved it. Because it is always nice to see it actually being done. And it was very interesting the other day when Philippa was saying about the alcohol markers. You must colour first and foil afterwards when you do alcohol markers, but just about everything else, it seems, I would do distressed oxides if you're using those instead of distressed inks to it does work either way, but I would probably do that, add the colour and then add the foil, because you, with the alcohol markers, you don't want the alcohol markers to colour your foil with the colours that you're using, and the foil will take on the alcohol markers, whereas with the dye-based inks it doesn't. But because you've got pigment in distressed oxides, I think I would probably do the colouring and then foil. Just I think you'll end up with a brighter foil. But it does work either way, but yeah. Right, so let's get rid of them. Let's turn my laminator off before I forget, and bring my sentiment back. And then, oh, I love when it comes off and it's just like, look, oh, beautiful. Oh yes, I bet that works really well actually, Donna. Yes, using a craft knife and a metal ruler, so you get a really nice straight edge on, because you need to be careful with your foils. You need to look after them, because I usually put what I haven't, like these aren't completely used up. These have only had a few goes, so I can use those again and again and again until all the foil is gone, because you can put your foilables through as many times as you need to if there's any black areas that didn't work. So now we could put our sentiment on Thinking of You as it comes. We can use it black straight out, so you can use them. You don't have to foil them. They can be used straight out of the packet. But I'm going to colour these with the same colours that I coloured my flowers with, just so they match in. And I wanted an ombre effect, so I only coloured the bottom part of my letter. And then I got my water brush, made sure it's got some water in it, or that the water's flowing, and then I just dragged this colour up. You might need to do this twice. Drag your colour up. That's probably a bit too long finding my brush. So just about halfway up, maybe not even halfway, and then drag your colour up over the top, and it will just give you that ombre effect. If you want it completely coloured, you can completely colour it. If you want less, you could have pink at the top, purple at the bottom, like I did half and half for that one. But if you wanted the two colours that you're using, I'm going straight over the top, and the foil acts like a resist because it is only a water-based pen. It's not an alcohol marker. It does get very confusing with all the different things you need for different applications, but if it's just water-based like my clean colour are, the foil acts like a resist. But if it's an alcohol marker, it will colour the ink. So where this is going on and it's looking pink, when I put my water brush on it, it takes the ink off of the foil. It acts like a resist. Okay, so a little bit in there. Do remember to unplug your laminator and your heat tool when you're not using them. Okay, I had a friend who, it was actually her dog wagging his tail, knocked the lead off of her heat tool and knocked the heat tool onto the floor and almost burnt her craft room down. But it cost thousands and thousands of pounds to put it right. So I do try now to turn my heat tool off, even though I don't have a dog. You never know if it would fall out of the where I keep it. Just made me very wary about it. So yeah, make sure you unplug your heat tools. Okay, so that's the U, and I'm going to do of the same. So I'm going to have this purple as well. And then drag all that ink over the top. Get it off my foiling. There we go. Right, that's that in there, that in there, that in there. Just drawn all over my laminator with my pens. Okay, so we have our lovely background, and I'm going to put my flowers down on one side. It can hang over the edge a little bit. So I'm just going to glue these in place. I'm going to glue along the stem and to the bottom of the flowers. So I like to try and lift the flowers up a little bit. So it can hang over the edge because I've got it going onto a bigger card. Just like to curl and shape those flowers a little bit and turn the leaves up a little bit. Then I'm going to add my piece of vellum, and I'm going to fold that around my card. Now I could, I wonder what would happen if I edged this with silver. Shall we put thinking of you on this one, or just for you? Maybe we'll put just for you. Oh, we could actually get it all the way across, couldn't we? Oh, look at that. Don't know now. Quite like thinking of you. Won't get that all the way across, that's for sure. Could have it half on and half. Oh, that's quite nice actually. Let's see what just for you looks like that. Quite like the bit of vellum just behind it a little bit. Okay, right. I'm wondering where I would normally add, I could add a little bit of felt tip pen actually, couldn't I? Let's just add, don't know how easy that'll be to do. Let's try. Right, so I'm just using the ends, the edge of the, oh, I don't want to get it on there. So I'm using down nearer the end of the brush, not the tip, where it's a bit more solid. Just to add that little bit of colour, because then when you put it down on here, it's going to show so much more. I wonder if a bit of water will get that off. Where I've got that little bit there, let's just see if I can, it might not because vellum isn't porous like card, so it won't be worth me I might put it that way and then I could put a bit of my word over it, possibly. Let's try the other colour for the other side. Oh, you need to use it much more upright. Or we could do it with an ink pad, but it won't be the right colour. I don't like that on the... Right, I'm going to be honest, I don't like these marks on here. So I'm going to take another piece of vellum and I'm going to tear it again. And I've got a new bit. Can't use that bit if I'm not happy. So I might try edging it with the silver. Let's see what happens with that. I can always tear another bit, can't I? And it's better that I try. Now see, this might be all right because it's not going to be anything much. So I'm just catching the edge. I have got a little bit more than I would maybe want, but I've just tried to catch the edge. It does show. I'm happier with that. Right, so I'm going to bring it down on the base of my card. So I want it to have some at the bottom, but I don't want it to cover too much of my flowers up. Fold those round to the back and glue that on. Glue that down. And then the same on this side. Okay. And then we can place this on our card. I'm just going to put it down flat, but again, you could raise it up if you wanted to. If you want to use a bit of cardboard or foam pads, make sure you put enough glue on here because obviously you're only going to hit the embossed pieces. Let's bring this up. I want to have it so I've got equal border on the top and the sides. And then firm that down nicely. Watch your fingers with the silver because it will take a little while to dry, the silver. And then I'm just going to pop, you could do these with foam pads if you wanted to raise them up, but I'm going to pop them down just over the top of the piece of vellum. And make sure I pick up the right U for this one. Just to get that initially stuck. And then for the U, I was going to overhang it, but I'm going to put it in the middle. There we go. And then the only thing that I think it needs is, let's just have a couple of glosses. So we'll have a glossy going on and off. Whoops. Oh, actually, let's use those purples. Let's make it a bit darker. And then we can have that one. And a medium. And then we can have a little one. And a little one. There we go. A few glosses to finish it off, but I've got my thinking of you for another time. And I love the mix of the Foilables with the stamping, but it would work just as well with all Foilables. I love that background with that little bit of ink. What glue am I using? I'm using Pink Frog's EVA, which I decant into a little glue bottle. Studio Light glue is very good as well. So they are the two cards that I've made. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Sorry I've gone on a bit. I didn't prep much in advance, did I? I could have coloured my... But it's nice for you to see as well, I think, sometimes. So let me just flip my camera. Bear with me. So I can say cheerio. Just wanted to thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget that Jo will be live here tomorrow at 10:30, and then Brian will be live at 10:30 on Sunday. If you can't watch either of them for any reason, then they will be up on my YouTube channel, and that's, if you search Julie Hickey Designs, it should come up. If you don't already subscribe, then I would love you to. And also, if you click notifications, you won't miss any of the lives either. So I think that's it. Don't forget, there's some amazing offers over at Dragon's Papercraft. I know that Jo's got her workshop coming up next week, and Jeanette's got her open house next week. So there are offers on with J Craft as well for our lovely Australian friends. So, and other stockists have them. I don't know if they're doing any offers. If you are, let me know and I will shout about them. But yes, thank you so much. Have a lovely crafty day, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.